Hello my dudes and welcome back to All the Magic Arcana. Today we're going to be doing Ars Nouveau, and before we get going, if you love magic mods as much as I do, I want you to smash a like on this video. Anyway, this episode we're going to be getting into Ars Nouveau, and before we do that, we're going to need a place to do it. Ars Nouveau is a very big, very expansive mod. We're going to need a lot of space to work with, so we need a big level of the tower to do all this stuff. I've designed something I think is pretty cool, and of course Patreon and YouTube members can get their hands on these schematics over on the Discord. But let's get going. Now this was a very big build. It took an insane amount of time to build it, which is kind of par for the course on these builds. However, the big reason why it took so long, well, we'll get to that in a bit. Now the core design feature for this level of the tower is we needed access to the sky, some sun area. A lot of the utility in Ars Nouveau revolves around plants and growing things, so I wanted to build like a big ring outside the edge of the tower where we could do all of the stuff that revolves around growing plants. Plus also having a huge ring that's kind of dirt and grass I think does look cool. Even though this tower is pretty tall now and it's all stone, brick and deep slate, I think adding things like trees and grass somehow into the tower does really add a lot to the build. Now I know Ars Nouveau pretty well, which makes it a bit different to the other magic mods in this pack, but what it also means is I know exactly what we need for all of the areas and all of the systems and multi-block structures in the mod. So I've built this entire tower designed perfectly for exactly what we need. This basically meets all of our Ars Nouveau needs pretty well. For example, those cobblestone blocks you see on the main tower floor, they are placeholder for where we're going to put our enchanting apparatus. Now Ars Nouveau kind of branches off into two different areas. Number one, you have the spellcasting and the armor, which is really all about combat power and making advancements as a wizard. The other side of Ars Nouveau is all the utility. By that I mean things like Drigme farms, Whirly Sprig farms, and yeah, a lot of like the imbuement, basically things that create blocks and help you gather resources. And that is something that we do really desperately need in this series. We're kind of low on mats. But let's talk about the specific reason why this tower took so long. Well, you might remember last episode we discovered the braziers from Iron Spells and Spellbooks, and they look really cool. I love them a lot. But the problem is the builders don't really understand their fire, and they walk on top of them all the time, get themselves killed. We went through I think about 3 builders in total, so if you're building this at home, do be aware your builders are going to try and set themselves on fire pretty much on the reg on these braziers, and it's nuts. I mean, what are we doing here? We're not building like a stadium in the Middle East. The casualty rate on these builders is way too high. And the worst part is, if you go back in when a builder dies and think, oh, I'll remove the braziers so the builders don't kill themselves, the new builder looks at the building and says, oh, actually, there's supposed to be a brazier here. Let me put one down. And then when they do, yeah, they jump on it. It's a nightmare. But the build did finally get finished. You might notice there's no stairway to the top of the tower, and that's something we'll deal with through Ars Nouveau, because realistically, once you become a wizard, you don't really need to walk anywhere. But I am very happy with how this tower looks. It's huge, it's a great amount of space, bespokely designed for exactly what we need. So let's jump in. So this is the Ars Nouveau level of our tower. We've got loads of room around this grass ring up top, areas for farming sauce with starbunkles, loads of room for Drigme farms, Whirly Sprig farms, all the nature stuff we're going to need for Ars Nouveau, no worries. And down here we've got an area for imbuement chambers, we've got an area for storage via bookworms, an area for the enchanting apparatus, and an area over here just for general spellcraft. Now at its core, Ars Nouveau is about spells, pretty amazing spells, and we put over here on the left all of the things that are going to be essential for us to get set up. Number one, the first thing we're obviously going to do is build a spell book. Super simple to do. With a book and 4 iron tools, you have access to basic level spells. So let's go and do that. So logs into sticks, then we'll need a sword. There it is. And then we'll need a pickaxe, a normal axe, and is it a shovel? I think the shovel is the last one. Click on this to put all of these things into position, and bam, we have the spellbook. The spellbook is insanely powerful because it can become your pickaxe. One of the first spells you should be making, if you press C to go to the crafting menu, is Touch Dig. So we'll go to Touch, and we'll go to Break, and we'll call it Touch Dig. There we go, and this is just insanely powerful. This gives you a way to dig stuff without using up durability on an iron pickaxe, and by default, it digs at an iron pickaxe level, so you can get everything up to diamonds. Now, that does bring us to the resources we're gonna need. Ars Nouveau is very gold heavy, and you can kind of get that from when looking at the items you see there's a lot of gold here. I've already got a little bit, but nowhere near enough. So my dudes, we're gonna hit the mines and grab the main things we need. Number one, gold. We also need lapis. I have a little bit already, but we're gonna need loads more. We'll need some sand for glass as well. Basically, all the basics. Anyway, let's go digging. Okay, so we got some sand, we got some gold, we got some lapis, we got some redstone dust, and even a few diamonds. But the one thing we need now is the wood from Ars Nouveau. Now this is a special type of wood called arch wood. And here we go, these trees come in different flavors. We're gonna need one of every single type of sapling. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the yellow one you can kind of ignore. It's not as important as the other 4. Anyway, to get that kind of wood, the best thing you can do is find a special Ars Nouveau forest. This thing down here, with all these multicolored trees, is the one we're looking for. It's literally called an archwood forest, but also there's a very cool structure over here that looks like a bit of an Ars Nouveau point of interest. So let's go and check that out as well. Oh my god, yeah, wow, look at this thing. This is something I've never seen before, and it looks seriously amazing. It's probably full to the brim with things we need from Ars Nouveau. So let's go and check it out. Now, obviously, a structure like this is going to be brimming with monsters, so we do have to be careful, but I do want to see what this thing has to offer. While we're here, of course, I'll grab my paxel, because it works as an axe as well, and we'll get some of these archwood logs. It's important that we get a sapling from every single tree type because they're all used in the rituals and spells and some of the crafting recipes as well. So what kind of secrets is this Ars Nouveau structure hiding? It looks like a real badass. This is a real cool building, but there's got to be a front door somewhere, right? Hello? Where's the entrance? Oh wow, this is awkward. So it looks like the Primal Magic Shrine has kind of clipped the structure and given us a secret way in, which I won't argue with because, oh my god, this thing is full of everything we're gonna need. We'll grab some of these. Oh my god, yeah, look at this. These are so valuable. Random tier 1 glyphs are super good to know. Wait, there's a ghast inside here? That's a bit intense. But we really did hit the motherload with this. Honestly, all of these random glyphs are going to come in real handy. So this place is seriously incredible. Honestly, there are just so many chests lying around with amazing bits of loot that are going to come in real handy. I need to nerd pole up here, but they're going to come in real handy to do all of our Ars Nouveau stuff. Oh yeah, look at all these free random tier 1 glyphs. So if you can find one of these structures, you are going to have an incredible kickstart into Ars Nouveau. Oh my god, yeah, just look. Whoa, what is this thing? Emblem of Assault. An elegant brooch in the shape of a sword. By channeling the flow through itself, it concentrates into its wielder's weapon? What the hell? Oh my god, whoa, look at this. You can apply a linked spell to the amulet, and then whenever you attack something, it also casts the spell on it. It does have a cooldown of 20 seconds, but still, if you level this up, this is probably a really good artifact. So we'll definitely take that. There's some codex entries. Oh, self-atomic. Only to be used as a last resort. That sounds a bit crazy, but we'll take it just in case. And also loads of wilden wings, spikes, and horns. Very useful and valuable in Ars Nouveau. Oh man, yeah, there's loads of stuff here. This place is a real dream. Also, the whole thing is made out of source stone, which comes in super handy. It also looks really good. Oh my god. Decoratively. But yeah, there's loads of Wilden Stalkers around, so do be careful. Oh, look at this, a nice little treasure room. Oh yeah, so much stuff. A Drigme token. Hump Day. Summon a camel. Okay, it's a bit odd. Loads of codex entries, a tablet of containment, which is very valuable, a fireball book. Oh my god, there's just so much stuff here. I haven't even got room in my backpack for all this stuff. Oh my god, look at this, a free scribes table, we'll take that. There's also a free alteration table, we'll also take that. Very cool. Oh my god, so much loot, an insane amount of loot. This is, oh my god, is that source stone? Oh, we need that for sure. But there we go, source gem blocks. Incredible find. Grab them up. That's going to really help with early Ars Nouveau. So we've got a nice little bit of loots from in here. We got the trees we need as well. I think we're about ready, my dudes, to start with Ars Nouveau. So let's have a sleep and head home. So the first thing we want to craft is a scribe's table. Actually, no, the first thing we're going to do is put down an actual crafting bench up here. Now, archwood functions as normal wood for most crafts, so you don't need to worry too much about that. And we'll plonk this crafting bench. Oh, yeah, we're going to move this at some point, so we'll leave it there for now. So the first thing we want to do is make a scribe's table. This is how you interact with your spellbook. We're going to need gold nuggets, which means we'll get the bars out of here. We'll have to smelt up the ore we did get, but that shouldn't be a problem. The gold nuggets in the crafting bench combined with some archwood logs that we're going to turn into planks and slabs. That should be everything we need. That's the scribe's table. Now, I didn't need to make one because I already had one, but I thought I should because you guys at home won't get as lucky as I did, and you won't find that structure. But if you do, well, congratulations, well done. You just won the game. The other bench we got is the alteration table. This is used for, well, making your armor better. That's the wrong orientation. There we go. So we don't need that yet because we don't actually have any Ars Nouveau armor, but it's very vital, very required once you do. It's a bit more late game. So Ars Nouveau does come with a whole bunch of quests. In fact, it's probably the most thought out quest chain in the pack. So if you want to follow that to learn how Ars Nouveau works, it's a very good idea. You get the spellbook. We won't upgrade the spellbook into the second and third level yet. That's a bit further down the line. The dowsing rod is great for finding magical creatures that you need, but we got the scribe's table now, and this opens up the quests to get the tier 1, 2, and 3 glyphs. Now these are quests you're going to have to do because if you don't do these first quests, you don't get a reward once you get the actual glyphs. But now we have all of this unlocked, we can start using these codex entries. We unlocked Bubble, we unlocked Place Block, we unlocked Filter Not Summon. The filters are less useful, but they do have some applications here and there. Filter Not Aerial. What other glyphs are we going to unlock? Knockback. Sensitive. Sensitive's a very good one. Pull. It's mediocre. We've unlocked Summon Wolves. That's very good. Toss. It's okay. Pack. Not so great. Conjure Mage Light is essential. Oh man, let's keep the gravy train rolling. So we've got Reset. We've got Wololo. Filter Not Insect? What? Filter Aquatic. Craft. Launch. Launch is a good one. Oh my god, yeah, these free glyphs are insane, because usually these cost quite a lot to get. Got Fell. Good for getting trees. Got Rotate. Good for turning around. Got Not Fiery. Not very good. Loads more filters. We got Cut. And we got Not Aquatic. So now, with the spellbook in our hand, we can right-click on the scribe's table, and this shows us all the things you've unlocked. Now, we only got tier 1 glyphs, and even though we just unlocked a load, there is still a huge amount that we desperately need. For example, item pickup is really essential. Also, Amplify is arguably the most important tier 1 glyph you'll ever learn. But we'll save learning other glyphs for later because there's a cool way we can do it kind of automatically. So we have the scribes table, we have a bunch of glyphs, we have our spellbook. What's the next step? Well, the quests really do lead us in the right direction here. So number one, we're going to want an imbuement chamber. This is how you turn lapis into source gems. You can use amethyst as well if it's easier for you to find, but generally lapis is a pretty good way of doing it. That leads on to the quest that gives you source jars, which are a way to store source. Source is the power of the mod. It's like a liquidy kind of purple thing, but it's basically like magical electricity, magical RF. So first things first, the imbuement chamber. How tricky is this to make? It shouldn't be too bad because it's quite early on. You do need these gold ingots, and this is again why gold is just a very used resource in this mod. So we'll put the imbuement chamber down over here. This doesn't need any power yet. Oh wait, that's sideways. You don't want it sideways. That's a bit weird. Or maybe that's fine. Maybe that looks okay. Yeah, I like that. I like the spinny. So with the imbuement chamber down, all you do is put lapis in there, and over time, it becomes source gems. It's very slow. You can speed this up by giving it source power, which we will do eventually, but for now, we'll leave it as it is. And we do have some that we got from the ruins that we just raided, and that's pretty useful. So yeah, the imbuement chamber. What works really well is putting like a barrel above and below with hopper upgrades, so you can kind of automate this process. And that's something that's very worth doing. But the real big amazing thing we want from Ars Nouveau is the bookworms. Basically, we want a computer system, and the only computer system in this mod pack that isn't applied energistics or like a complicated tech computer is a magical computer from Ars Nouveau. They're very cool. They revolve around a storage lectern, as you can see over here, and they're really worth going for. In fact, we're kind of going to make a beeline straight for it. So the first thing we're going to do is set up our enchanting apparatus. This is like a multi-block structure. You put a thing in the middle, you surround it with pedestals, you put a recipe on the pedestals, and it creates an object in the middle. It's pretty cool. And we're going to need three things. We're going to need the Arcane core, which is very much the heart of what we're doing. Source stone, which is, of course, some stone around a source gem, which we can do. So a source gem in the middle, the stone around the edge, and we have ourselves the source stone. This is used as the stone replacement for the mod. Very essential. So the Arcane core. We've got the source gem. We've got the gold bars. We've got the source stone. We've got one of those. Get rid of this stuff. Next, on top of the Arcane core, we need to put the enchanting apparatus itself. Now, this does require a diamond. Have I got any of those? Not on me, but I do have some in my chest. Again, yeah, so finding at least one diamond is essential. Anyway, there's the diamond. We have everything we need now for the enchanting apparatus. Very cool. So let's put this into position. We're going to move the cobblestone away. Down goes the Arcane core. Then on top of it, the enchanting apparatus. Right, all that's remaining now is to turn these cobblestones around the edge into pedestals. So we'll need, I think, 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this might trigger a quest. Yeah, there it goes. So we'll remove with touch dig. Oh, better take the torches out because that bugs out. These cobblestone blocks because the durability on our Paxel is getting pretty low. And let's put the pedestals in the same spot those cobblestone blocks were. I think this should be correct. I've done this enough times to kind of know it off by heart. And there we go, 8 pedestals around the middle enchanting apparatus. Very, very cool. Well, we have the enchanting apparatus, and this is used to make all of the important things, but we're beelining straight to a computer. So the first thing we need to do is make the storage lectern. This is like the heart of the computer. We'll need a lectern and 4 chests. Obviously, a lectern is a bookshelf. Yeah, we can make all of this stuff, so it shouldn't be a massive issue. So we'll make a few chests. 4, I think, is the number. And here we go. So we want to put these chests on pedestals. Doesn't matter where you put them, as long as they're on pedestals. Then we put the lectern in the middle, and this will create for us our computer. And like that, within like 20 minutes, we've already gotten the core of our computer. It's that simple. The next step is not as simple, so don't get too cocky just yet. We're going to put the lectern, I think, right here. This is a nice spot for it. And this works as a crafting bench as well. It's insanely powerful in these early levels. But the storage lectern is nothing without actual bookworms. Basically, you have to tame bookworms, and each bookworm you get will give you access to 8 inventories. So how do we actually get some bookworms? Well, this is fairly simple. If we look for bookworm, you can see getting the charm is as easy as setting up a ritual. Wait, where is the... It should be. Well, okay, it's not in here, but I do know how this is done. We're going to need to make a ritual altar and perform a ritual. But rituals themselves aren't easy to do. They do require mana. So we're going to move away from the apparatus and from the storage lectern to work on our source generation. Now I've kind of built an area over here. No, is it the other side? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I've built an area right here that is dedicated to making source berries into mana. So ordinarily, we will be making a source jar right now. It's a simple recipe, but because we've already got one, we don't need to worry about that too much. If we raided that Ars Nouveau structure that we found earlier, we'd probably find loads more of these, and they're super useful, super valuable, so I definitely recommend grabbing them. The other things we'll need to craft are over here on the left, so an agronomic source link that turns growing plants into source. Sounds complicated, but it's actually not. Let's go and grab the wheat and the gold. So again, yeah, this should be mega simple. We need one agronomic source link. So the first thing we put down is the agronomic source link. These other pillars are dedicated to the mycelial source links. The agronomic one gets you mana when things nearby grow. The mycelial eats food nearby to make mana. So what you do is you grow a crop and get mana, and then as the crop is grown, you have starbuncles deliver them to pedestals over here. The mycelial source link eats the food from the pedestal and makes mana, and the crop grows again. And the whole thing is like an endless cycle, an endless loop that gets you mana for days. But for now, we'll just put a source jar here because we want enough source to get our computer, which won't actually be that much. So now we put down some source berries. You can kind of grow these anywhere, and they don't need water, which is very good. So we'll splash a few down like this. There we go, and as these grow, the agronomic source link, as you can see, yeah, it's sucking all that energy from these growing crops and turning it into mana, or source, and filling up this jar. Now it takes a while, it's not a quick thing, so we'll leave this to brew while we make the rest of the things we need for our computer. So we need an arcane pedestal, boom, then we turn that into the ritual brazier using a block of source, some gold, and the rest of it, and this is a very powerful tool indeed. This lets you run rituals, and rituals are insane. The next thing we need is an actual ritual tablet. This tells the ritual brazier what ritual you want to do, and the one we want is the ritual of awakening. So we need a tablet of awakening. And this is again why you need one of these 4 saplings. So we'll grab those out of the chest. We did get all 4. There's the blue, also got the red, we've got the green, and somewhere we have the purple one. There it is. Combine it with the green logs, which are the flourishing ones, and we'll have the Tablet of Awakening. Just make some more source gems as well. And there we go, one of these is all we need. Now the Tablet of Awakening isn't just used to get bookworms. You can also use it to make tree golems, which are very cool. It's also used to make amethyst golems, but yeah, the bookworm charms are the real ones we want, and to get that, we need to augment this ritual. We need to add to the ritual a book and quill. So we have the books, we have the ink somewhere, and we have the quills. Let's go and grab some books and quills. So there we go, 3 books and quills will get us 3 bookworms, and that should be enough. That'll give us access to 8, 16, 24 chests, and that's like a lot of storage space for us right now. We've also got our Inferium watering can, because this also is going to help us. Where's my drink? Yeah, here we go. This is going to help us speed up our source acquisition. At the moment, this jar is 5% full. We want this to be around 10%. So we'll just keep watering these crops, and this thing should go up real quick. Yeah, there's 6%. Get the berry out of there, and keep the grow train going. Oh yeah, look at all that sauce going into that source link. Very speedy. Man, I do love this mod. It's so intuitive, so smart. Do be careful of the sauce berries though, because they do prick. And there we go, 30% full on the sauce jar, sitting very pretty indeed. We'll grab our Paxel, pick up the sauce jar. This keeps all the sauce that's in it, so you don't need to worry about losing all that when you move it. But there we go, 31% full. We're almost ready to begin. So we'll do this near to the storage lectern, because why not? That's exactly what we're doing. So we want the ritual brazier, that goes down. We want to find the sauce jar, put this near to it. The ritual is going to absorb sauce from the jar. That's the fuel for the ritual. Then we need the tablet of awakening. This tells the brazier what you're doing, and we're doing the ritual of awakening. Now before you activate it, you're going to have to augment it. So we're going to put not 1, not 2, but 3 books and quills into the altar of awakening. Now, if we right-click again, this is going to consume those books and quills, run the ritual, and create for us 1, 2, 3 bookworm charms. So here we go. Now we have 3 bookworm charms, and all you need to do is just right-click onto the storage lectern, and the bookworms now live in the storage lectern. Essential. So these 3 bookworms are going to give us access to 24 chests. That's a lot of storage. So now what we need to do is craft a whole bunch of barrels. 24 iron barrels should do us, and we can put these behind the bookworms, and that will be our storage. Okay, so this is not the cleanest setup, but yeah, we have 24 birch iron barrels moved over from our basement and crafted a few more, and this should be all the storage we need. Every single one of these barrels has a lot of storage. And for the amount of stuff we have at the moment, this is going to be fine. As we go further into the mods and need more storage space, we can always upgrade these to gold, then diamond, and then probably netherite as well. And that'll give us even more space. But for now, let's get these bookworms connected to these chests. We can dig up the jar over here. It looks like actually we didn't need the source jar at all. This is still 31% full. It didn't use any mana with the ritual. So if you want to skip doing all of the sourceberry farm and jump straight into the ritual, straight into the bookworms to get your computer set up, you don't even need to bother with this entire setup over here just yet. Now you will need this down the line, so it is good that we started it. But for now, yeah, if you want to get the bookworm set up, your magical computer, you don't need that berry farm at all. All right, very cool, very cool. So the next thing we're going to need is a Dominion wand. This is basically like the wrench for Ars Nouveau, but it's not simple to craft. To make the Dominion wand, you're going to need to put gold, source gems, and a stick inside your crafting apparatus. So with 2 source gems on the pedestals, 1 gold ingot, the stick in the middle. Here we go. Oh man, the enchanting apparatus. I love the animations for this thing. This is like my favorite thing in Ars Nouveau. It's so cool. And the sound just sounds so good, so crisp. So we have the Dominion wand. This is, like I said, the magical wrench for the mod. Right, so yeah, the first thing you do is you shift right click on the chest, then you click on the storage lectern, and it connects the inventories. You do this for all of the chests that you have to get them all linked. It can take a while. But there we go, 24 connected inventories, and now, when we right click on the storage lectern, we can just start to plow all of this stuff into our computer, and we'll be able to see it there. The bookworms, what they do is they come and they take things from the lectern and throw them into the different chests. And as you can see, it's starting with the bottom left, the first one we linked, and it's all getting filled up with our stuff. Oh, amazing. Now we can start to empty our backpack into the storage lectern, and we just created our first computer system, my dudes. It's so powerful, it's so good. Honestly, in this mod pack, and even if you're doing like a tech mod pack, like all the mods 9 or 10, the Ars Nouveau storage lectern still remains a really good computer system. It's very simple to set up, and it's very, very powerful indeed. So already so many of these chests are full, but we still have loads and loads of storage space. And as you can see, yeah, the computer is brimming with all of this stuff that we've gathered over the series. Super amazing. So I'm going to keep transferring all of the stuff over and filling up these chests. But what is the next step? Well, we said we were going to go 0 to hero with Ars Nouveau, but this mod pack is so huge, it's going to take us a while. So fast forward sometime later to a semi-complete Ars Nouveau setup. I did Ars Nouveau pretty extensively in my Enchant the World series, so I wanted to spare you guys like 3 or 4 episodes of doing the entire mod, when we really just want the utility from this mod because it offers so many cool options. Now first up, you'll see around the edge we have completed our Starbuncle Sauceberry Farm. This has got a mycelial generator now that takes the berries these guys put on the pedestals and turns it into mana. This basically powers our entire Ars Nouveau setup. We also have an area for a Drigme farm. This is very cool. Basically, a Drigme will farm creatures that are put in jars nearby and gather the drops they would usually drop when you kill them. This is a really effective and efficient way of making mob farms without having to get loads of mobs spawning in one location. Now we also have a Whirly-Sprig farm nearby, and this is kind of like a nature farm. This gathers drops from all the plants and trees that are nearby to the farm. And of course the power system is in place as well. Using splitters and relays, we spread source around the entire floor so it goes exactly where it's needed, mostly to these jars that are hanging down from the beams. So yeah, here we go. One of the coolest things we have over here is this relay is sending mana to this source jar, which is feeding our imbuement chamber. What this means is we can throw in loads of lapis in the top barrel. The hopper upgrade is sending that down below to the imbuement chamber, which, powered by the source jar, is producing source gems real quick. That's really efficient, really cool. Now, of course, yeah, the imbuement chambers over here, each one of these essences, let me take a look at this, Ars Essence. Each one of these essences, we're going to want to make abjuration, conjuration, there's 7 of them, but each of them need 3 different things near the imbuement chamber. And these are going to be quite tricky to get, so we'll have to do that over time, but that's why these pillars are here. We can replace these with arcane pedestals, like the ones we have over on our enchantment apparatus. And using the source from the jars suspended above, they will create all the essences we need, but they're pretty high level and pretty much focused on Ars Nouveau. We don't need to worry about that too much, but the best thing is the storage lectern. This thing is so amazing. So the question you're probably wondering is, how did we get our Starbuncles? Well, yeah, the charms for Starbuncles aren't too hard to grab. Basically, you have to go and find a Starbuncle out in the wild. If you throw him a gold nugget, he will drop a token. Then when you have the token, it's as simple as using the enchanting apparatus with the token in the middle, gold bars around the edge, and you get yourself a Starbuncle charm. We made these Mage Bloom beds, so they have a place to rest when they're not working. But 2 of these will keep our tower up and running full of source, and that's very cool. Now likewise, the Drigme farm is really cool. We can put jars on top of these pillars, and the Drigmes will farm whatever drops from those jars. Now these jars are actually insanely overpowered. What we can do is basically capture even Cataclysm bosses without having to kill them to get their drops via the Drigme farm, and that is insanely OP. The Drigme does need source to operate, so this is all hooked up to the network via a relay. But because there's no jars at the moment, this guy won't farm anything. When he does though, he'll put them into these oak barrels, which will fill up pretty quickly. You're going to want some stack upgrades in here if you do this at home. Now, grabbing a Drigme is as easy as giving it a Wilden Horn if you find one out in the wild. Luckily enough, we found some Wilden Horns in that point of interest, that structure that we found early on, so that was no worries. Kind of the same deal over here with the Whirly Sprig as well. To find a Whirly Sprig out in the wild, basically when you find a Whirly Sprig out in the wild, you grow a sapling nearby them, so have some bone meal and some saplings on you, and if they see that in your vicinity, they will create a Whirly Sprig token. And once again, to get the actual token into a charm, in the enchanting apparatus, you offer it some nature and stuff, a diamond, and yeah, he'll become yours and you can create a Whirly Sprig farm. But that's about as far as we're going with Ars Nouveau for now, because basically, yeah, this is pure utility. What I want to do next is get the Drigme farm up and running. With a Drigme farm, we can basically gather anything we need that drops from creatures. That includes bones from skeletons for bone meal, leather from cows if we put a cow in a jar, also things like wool from sheep, gunpowder from creepers. All kinds of things can be gathered using these jars. They are really overpowered. Now what I want to do next is give ourselves a way to get to the next floor that's above us. So we said we were going to use Ars Nouveau for this, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to create a little portal here by this pillar that's going to give us access to the floor above. So we're going to need a few bits from our computer, of course. So warp portals are very cool. Basically, you throw a portal scroll into a source frame, which is like a frame of source stone. Have I got any source stone in here? Probably. Source stone, yeah, loads of it. Glad we gathered this. So, what we're going to do is we're going to create a little kind of basic portal over here. It's going to look a lot like a nether portal, but that's okay. And in the interests of symmetry, we're going to make it 3 by 3. So there, there, and there, there, and there, and there. And of course the floor out of source stone as well. So now we have our source stone frame. What we're going to need is 2 more things. A jar full of source, which we can actually make. We've got one in here, 31% full, and that should be enough. We'll put this here for now because the portal needs source to start, to activate, but once it's activated, you can take the source away and it doesn't need anything. So now we need the actual warp scroll, and this is a little bit trickier. We'll put this over on the left. We only want the regular one, not the stabilized. The stabilized, I think, lets you go between dimensions, which can be good for making your own nether portal. So here we go, the warp scroll. We need the actual scroll itself, which is paper, blank parchment. There we go. Put that in the computer with the Mage Rune Fiber because we might need that as well. We've got the lapis and the source gems, so we have a warp scroll. Now you use this while sneaking to set a location. So let's have a sleep and then go up to the top level to put a location down. Okay, so a stack of cobblestone, and we're just going to nerd pole up here. Don't mind me, Mr. Drigme. Not trying to get in your way or anything, just trying to make myself a portal. There we go. And that should do. So we're going to try and loosely find the middle here, because it'll be annoying if we didn't. This is the middle, and this is the middle. So I guess this block is the middle. Hold shift, right click. You recorded your location to the warp scroll. So the middle is where you will appear. Now let's get rid of all of this cobblestone. Oh man, touch dig is an amazing spell. So now with the source jar in place near to the portal, it might not be enough, so we're just gonna set the relay up here, if we can reach it, to fill up this jar quick. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that fill up. Very cool. And now that's 100% full. We can toss the scroll into the frame. And I think this is how it works. Oh yeah, look at this. It's got a really cool effect, man. That's a spooky effect. What is going on with that white square? I don't know. But if we walk through this, we should appear up here. And that's a really cool way of getting up to the next floor without having to use stairs. In fact, you could probably use these warp scrolls and portals around the entire tower if we want to. Now, it doesn't look too neat at the moment. In fact, it looks very rough around the edges. I didn't expect the portal to be so flush against these blocks, but it looks pretty cool. It's a pretty cool way of getting around. So my dudes, a massive thank you for watching this episode, which was kind of a speed run in how to get all of the basic utility done with Ars Nouveau. And again, we barely scratched the surface. We only made one spell. There is so much more to this mod pack than meets the eye. It's without a doubt the deepest and coolest magic mod there is. But as always, a massive thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And if you're interested in getting your hands on the tower blueprint for this level, become a Patreon or YouTube member and check out the Discord. But also, if you're interested in Ars Nouveau, check out Enchant the World, where I kind of go into Ars Nouveau in greater detail. But a massive thank you for watching, my dudes, and until next time, take care.